Good morning, everyone. There's a lesson in life that's as timeless as it is challenging. When faced with disrespect, choose silence. It may not feel natural. It may not even feel fair. But silence is often the most powerful response you can give. Disrespect has a way of tempting us into reaction. Words fly, emotions rise, and before we know it, we're defending ourselves or trying to match the energy of the insult. But let me ask you this. Does engaging in that moment make you stronger? Does it help you grow? True strength isn't measured by how loudly you speak back. It's measured by your ability to remain calm and unshaken. Staying quiet isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of wisdom. It shows you understand that not every battle is worth fighting, and not every opinion deserves your energy. Silence doesn't mean you agree. It doesn't mean you're powerless. It means you've decided that the person or situation trying to provoke you doesn't control you. Your peace is priceless, and it's not something you hand over lightly. Think of silence as a mirror. When someone disrespects you and you respond with calm, they're forced to reflect on their own behavior. It takes two to argue, and when you refuse to engage, their words lose their power. They're left with nothing to feed off of. But silence is more than just a shield. It's also a teacher. It teaches patience. It teaches restraint, and most importantly, it teaches you that you're above the noise. You don't have to lower yourself to the level of disrespect to prove your worth. Your value isn't up for debate. It's inherent, unshaken, and undeniable. When faced with disrespect, the instinctive response for many is to react. A sharp comment, a raised voice, or a defensive posture can feel like the natural way to reclaim dignity. Yet, there is a deeper, more profound power in choosing silence. The act of remaining quiet in the face of disrespect is not an act of submission or weakness. It is an expression of self-restraint and inner strength that speaks louder than any words could. Strength is not always about showing force or proving a point. True strength lies in mastering your emotions, controlling your impulses, and resisting the urge to engage in unnecessary conflict. It takes courage to hold back when every fiber of your being wants to respond. Reacting quickly to disrespect may provide a fleeting sense of satisfaction, but it often leads to regret or escalation. Silence, on the other hand, is a measured response that requires discipline and foresight. It reflects an understanding that not every comment, insult, or slight deserves your attention or energy. In a world where so much of our worth feels tied to how we are perceived by others, it can be tempting to defend yourself immediately when someone disrespects you. But this reaction is often driven by ego. The need to prove something to others or even to yourself can cloud your judgment. So by choosing silence, you rise above the fray and refuse to allow someone else's behavior to dictate your actions. You demonstrate that your sense of self-worth is not dependent on external validation, nor is it shaken by someone's attempt to undermine you. Remaining silent also shifts the power dynamic. Disrespect is often an attempt to provoke a reaction, to exert control over your emotions or your state of mind. When you respond with silence, you deny the other person that power. You show that you are not easily manipulated, and that their words or actions hold no weight in the grand scheme of your life. This level of composure can be disarming to those who seek to provoke you. Silence is not passive. It is an active choice that communicates confidence and self-assuredness. Another aspect of silence as strength lies in its ability to foster self-awareness. In the heat of the moment, reacting impulsively can lead to saying or doing things you might later regret. Silence provides the space to process your emotions and reflect on the situation. It allows you to respond, if necessary, from a place of thoughtfulness rather than anger or hurt. This ability to pause and reflect is a hallmark of emotional intelligence, a quality that is deeply tied to strength and resilience. Silence also demonstrates a sense of security in your own values and beliefs. When someone disrespects you, it often says more about them than it does about you. Their words or actions are a reflection of their own insecurities, frustrations, or lack of understanding. By remaining silent, you show that you are secure enough in yourself not to take their behavior personally. You don't need to defend or explain yourself to someone who has chosen to disrespect you. This kind of strength comes from knowing who you are and refusing to let anyone shake that foundation. Moreover, silence can be a powerful tool for de-escalation. Conflict often thrives on back and forth exchanges, with each side feeding off the other's energy. By choosing not to engage, you disrupt this cycle. Silence can diffuse tension and prevent the situation from spiraling out of control. It creates space for emotions to settle and for perspective to take hold. In this way, silence is not just a personal act of strength, it is also an act of compassion and wisdom, as it prevents further harm or misunderstanding. One of the most striking aspects of silence is its ability to command respect. While loudness and aggression may demand attention in the short term, they rarely inspire lasting admiration. Silence, on the other hand, carries an air of mystery and authority. It shows that you are confident enough to let your actions and character speak for themselves. When you remain silent in the face of disrespect, you are making a statement that you value your peace and integrity more than the fleeting satisfaction of a retort. This quiet confidence is often far more impactful than any verbal response could be. There is also a timeless wisdom in silence. Many great leaders, thinkers, and philosophers throughout history have emphasized the power of restraint. They understood that strength is not about overpowering others, but about mastering oneself. Silence embodies this principle. It is a reminder that true power does not need to be shouted from the rooftops. It is felt in the calm, steady presence of someone who knows their worth and refuses to be rattled by external noise. To choose silence in the face of disrespect is to take the higher road. It is an acknowledgement that your energy is too valuable to be wasted on negativity. It is a decision to prioritize your peace over petty conflicts. And most importantly, it is an act of self-respect. When you remain silent, you are not just refraining from speaking, you are affirming your strength, dignity, and unwavering sense of self. In the end, silence is not about ignoring or avoiding conflict. It is about responding with wisdom and grace. It is about recognizing that strength is not measured by the volume of your words, but by the depth of your character. And it is about understanding that sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all. Life is full of challenges, confrontations, and moments of friction. And along the way, we often encounter situations that test our patience and sense of self. Among these are instances where we feel provoked, disrespected, or misunderstood. The natural instinct is often to engage, to defend ourselves, or to fight back. However, there's a profound wisdom in realizing that not every battle is worth fighting. Sometimes the most powerful choice is to let the situation pass without engaging in unnecessary conflict. It takes maturity and discernment to recognize that some battles, while tempting, serve no greater purpose. When someone insults you or behaves rudely, the immediate urge is often to respond, to set the record straight, or to match their energy. But ask yourself, what will this achieve? More often than not, engaging in such battles only escalates the situation, leading to more frustration and wasted energy. By choosing not to fight, you preserve your peace and maintain control over your emotional state. Conflict has a way of pulling us in, of making us feel that we must participate to validate ourselves. But not every opinion deserves your attention, and not every critic deserves your response. Engaging in every battle, especially those rooted in pettiness, negativity, or misunderstanding, can quickly drain you. Your energy is finite, and so is your time. Every moment spent in conflict is a moment taken away from things that truly matter, like your personal growth, relationships, and goals. Walking away or choosing silence is not an act of weakness. It's a demonstration of strength. It shows that you value your inner peace more than the fleeting satisfaction of proving a point. When you engage in unnecessary battles, you allow others to control your emotions and dictate your actions. By stepping back, you reclaim that power. You decide that your well-being and focus are more important than getting the last word or winning an argument. Choosing not to fight also reflects wisdom and perspective. In the heat of the moment, it's easy to get caught up in the need to respond. But when you pause and think about the situation objectively, you often realize that the issue isn't as significant as it initially seemed. Many conflicts arise from misunderstandings, differing perspectives, or someone else projecting their frustrations onto you. By not engaging, you give yourself the opportunity to see the bigger picture. You recognize that some battles are simply not worth your time or energy. Furthermore, not every person you encounter will operate on the same level of emotional intelligence or self-awareness as you do. Some people thrive on conflict, seeking to provoke reactions or draw others into their negativity. Engaging with such individuals often leads nowhere. It simply fuels their behavior and drags you down in the process. Choosing not to fight doesn't mean you're letting them win. It means you've decided their opinion or behavior isn't significant enough to disrupt your peace. But there's also a certain dignity in walking away. It takes a strong sense of self to refrain from defending your every action or decision. Not everyone will understand you, and not everyone needs to. By choosing your battles wisely, you demonstrate a level of self-assurance that speaks volumes. You don't need to justify yourself to those who have already made up their minds or who aren't willing to engage in a constructive way. Your silence or refusal to engage becomes a reflection of your confidence and composure. When you let go of the need to fight every battle, you also free yourself from the stress and negativity that often accompany conflict. Constantly engaging in arguments or confrontations can weigh heavily on your mind and spirit, leaving you feeling drained and emotionally exhausted. By choosing not to participate, you protect your mental and emotional well-being. You create space for positivity, clarity, and focus. It's important to remember that not fighting doesn't mean you're avoiding conflict out of fear or passivity. Rather, it's about being strategic and intentional with your energy. Some battles are necessary. They help you stand up for your values, protect your boundaries, or advocate for what's right. But these moments are the exception, not the rule. The key is to distinguish between what's truly important and what's merely a distraction. When you decide not to fight every battle, you also set an example for others. You show that it's possible to rise above negativity and maintain your dignity even in challenging situations. This approach can inspire others to adopt a similar mindset, creating a ripple effect of calm and composure. Ultimately, choosing not to engage in every battle allows you to focus on what truly matters. It frees you to pursue your goals, nurture your relationships, and invest in your personal growth. It gives you the clarity to prioritize your time and energy, channeling them into things that bring you fulfillment and joy. Life is too short to be spent fighting battles that lead nowhere. By letting go of the need to engage in every conflict, you gain the freedom to live with purpose and intention. Silence has a unique power that often goes unnoticed. While it may appear passive on the surface, silence has the ability to reflect truths that spoken words can sometimes obscure. It serves as a mirror, not only for others to see themselves more clearly, but also for us to understand situations with greater depth. When we choose silence in moments of conflict or disrespect, we create a space where people are forced to confront their actions, words, and intentions without interference. It is in this reflective quality that silence reveals its profound strength. When someone disrespects or provokes you, their intention is often to elicit a reaction, whether it's anger, frustration, or defensiveness. They seek a response that validates their actions or reinforces their control over the interaction. Engaging immediately in such moments can provide them with exactly what they want, fueling their behavior and perpetuating the cycle. Silence, on the other hand, interrupts this pattern. It denies them the satisfaction of a reaction, enforces them to face their words and actions on their own terms. In this way, silence becomes a mirror that reflects their behavior back to them. Without the distraction of a verbal exchange, they are left to sit with the weight of their choices. For some, this can be a moment of realization. They may recognize the pettiness or cruelty in their actions and feel a sense of discomfort. It forces the other person to take accountability, even if only internally. The power of silence as a mirror is also rooted in its ability to reveal dynamics in a situation. Words can often muddy the waters, leading to misunderstandings or emotional escalation. Silence, however, creates clarity. It strips away the noise and allows the underlying truth to emerge. By stepping back and choosing not to engage, you give yourself the chance to absorb what's really happening. You can discern whether the other person's actions are a reflection of their own insecurities, frustrations, or misunderstandings, rather than a true reflection of who you are. This reflective quality of silence is not only beneficial for others, but also for yourself. In moments of silence, you gain the opportunity to pause and process. You can reflect on your own emotions, assess the situation objectively, and determine the best course of action. Silence creates a buffer between stimulus and response, allowing you to act from a place of clarity rather than impulse. It's in this space of reflection that wisdom and emotional intelligence are cultivated. For those on the receiving end of silence, the experience can be profoundly humbling. When someone expects a fight, rebuttal, or justification, silence can be disarming. It shifts the dynamic of the interaction and places the focus squarely on them. In some cases, silence can even create a sense of unease or discomfort as the person is forced to sit with their behavior without the distraction of conflict. This can lead to introspection and, in some instances, a change in attitude or behavior. However, silence as a mirror is not about manipulating or punishing others. It is about choosing to rise above negativity and creating space for growth, both for yourself and those around you. When used thoughtfully, silence can communicate a sense of self-assurance and composure that speaks volumes without uttering a single word. It shows that you are not easily swayed by external forces and that your peace of mind is a priority. There is also an element of respect embedded in the power of silence. By choosing not to engage in reactive or defensive behavior, you respect yourself enough to preserve your dignity and peace. At the same time, you indirectly respect the other person by allowing them the opportunity to reflect on their actions without interference. You're giving them the space to consider their behavior and perhaps make better choices in the future. Silence also has the ability to highlight the absurdity or pettiness of certain behaviors. When someone lashes out or acts disrespectfully and is met with calm silence, it underscores the disproportionate nature of their action. Without a response to validate or fuel their behavior, the disrespect often loses its power and impact. In this way, silence acts as a subtle yet powerful critique, one that encourages self-reflection without confrontation. It's worth noting that silence as a mirror requires a great deal of self-discipline and emotional strength. Choosing not to respond in the face of disrespect or provocation is not always easy. It demands a deep understanding of your own worth and a commitment to preserving your peace. It also requires faith in the idea that silence can communicate more effectively than words in certain situations. In moments of silence, you are also giving yourself the gift of freedom. You free yourself from the need to defend, justify, or retaliate. You free yourself from the emotional burden of conflict and allow yourself to focus on what truly matters. Silence is not an avoidance of reality. It is a conscious decision to engage with reality on your own terms rather than being pulled into someone else's narrative. Ultimately, silence is a tool of empowerment. It places the responsibility for reflection and growth where it belongs, on the individual. By refusing to engage in negativity, you uphold your values and create a space for deeper understanding. Silence becomes a mirror, not only for others, but also for yourself, offering clarity, perspective, and a sense of inner peace that words often fail to achieve. Life is filled with noise, distractions, conflicts, and challenges that can unsettle even the calmest of minds. In the midst of this chaos, protecting your peace becomes one of the most essential acts of self-care. Peace is not just the absence of conflict, it is the presence of a calm, grounded state of mind that allows you to navigate the ups and downs of life with resilience and clarity. When you protect your peace, you prioritize your emotional and mental well-being over everything else. It is a conscious choice to safeguard your energy, your focus, and your sense of self, even in the face of negativity or provocation. Protecting your peace begins with the understanding that not every situation or person deserves your attention. Every day, you are presented with opportunities to engage in unnecessary battles or to absorb other people's negativity. Whether it's an argument with a stranger, a disagreement at work, or even the toxic behaviors of someone close to you, these moments can easily disrupt your inner calm if you allow them to. But peace is not something that others can take away from you. It is something you give away when you let external circumstances dictate your emotions. Choosing to protect your peace means recognizing when to walk away, when to let go, and when to remain silent. It takes strength to detach from the chaos around you, especially when emotions are high. The temptation to react, defend yourself, or prove a point can feel overwhelming, but every reaction you give away has a cost. Your energy is finite, and spending it on people or situations that do not serve your growth is a disservice to yourself. When you react impulsively, you allow others to control your emotional state. Protecting your peace, on the other hand, puts you back in control. It is an act of self-respect and empowerment, a way of saying, I will not let this disturb my well-being. Boundaries are a vital part of protecting your peace. Boundaries are not just about saying no to others, they are about saying yes to yourself. They help you define what is acceptable in your life and what is not. When you set and enforce boundaries, you create a space where your peace can thrive. This might mean distancing yourself from toxic relationships, limiting your exposure to negativity, or simply prioritizing time for yourself. Boundaries are not selfish, they are necessary. They allow you to conserve your energy for what truly matters and ensure that your emotional reserves are not constantly depleted by others. Protecting your peace also means being intentional about where you focus your attention. In today's world, we are constantly bombarded with information, opinions, and demands on our time. Social media, news outlets, and even the conversations around us can pull us in 100 different directions, leaving us feeling overwhelmed and anxious. It is easy to lose your sense of peace when you are constantly absorbing the noise of the world. To protect your peace, you must become selective about what you consume and where you invest your mental energy. This might mean unplugging from technology, taking breaks from social media, or choosing to surround yourself with positivity and encouragement rather than negativity and drama. Another key aspect of protecting your peace is learning to let go. Holding on to anger, grudges, or resentment only burdens your spirit and keeps you tethered to the very things that disrupt your peace. Forgiveness is not about excusing harmful behavior or allowing people to continue hurting you. It is about releasing yourself from the grip of negative emotions. When you forgive, you free yourself from the weight of the past and make room for peace to take its place. Letting go is not always easy, but it is one of the most liberating things you can do for yourself. Protecting your peace also requires cultivating a sense of mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of being fully present in the moment without judgment or distraction. When you are mindful, you are better equipped to handle stress and negativity because you are grounded in the present rather than being swept away by worries about the past or future. Mindfulness helps you to pause, reflect, and respond with intention rather than reacting out of habit or emotion. It allows you to create a space between stimulus and response, a space where your peace resides. Self-care is another cornerstone of protecting your peace. Taking care of your physical, emotional, and mental health is not a luxury, it is a necessity. Self-care looks different for everyone, but it might include activities like exercise, meditation, journaling, or simply taking time to rest. When you prioritize self-care, you reinforce the message that your well-being is important. You cannot pour from an empty cup. And protecting your peace ensures that you have the energy and resilience to show up fully for yourself and others. It is also important to remember that protecting your peace does not mean avoiding all conflict or difficulty. Life is filled with challenges, and there will be times when you need to address issues or confront problems. Protecting your peace is not about running away. It is about approaching these situations with clarity and intention. It means picking your battles wisely and ensuring that you are responding from a place of calm rather than reacting out of anger or frustration. Finally, protecting your peace is about embracing the power of choice. You cannot control what others do or say, but you can control how you respond. You can choose to rise above negativity, to let go of what no longer serves you, and to prioritize your well-being. Protecting your peace is not a one-time decision, it is a daily practice. A commitment to yourself that you will not let the world dictate your state of mind. Silence holds a power that often goes unappreciated. It is not merely the absence of words, but rather a deliberate pause, a conscious choice to withhold reaction. In a world where quick responses and immediate gratification dominate, silence teaches us the invaluable lesson of restraint. It reminds us that not every impulse needs to be acted upon, and that strength often lies in the ability to remain composed in moments of tension. Restraint, cultivated through silence, is a hallmark of emotional maturity and self-control, offering us the clarity to navigate life's challenges with wisdom and grace. In moments of conflict or provocation, the urge to react is often immediate. Anger, frustration, or hurt can trigger an emotional response that feels justified in the heat of the moment. However, speaking or acting out of impulse rarely resolves the situation. Instead, it often escalates tensions or leads to regret. Silence intervenes as a powerful tool, creating a space between the stimulus and the response. It allows us to pause, reflect, and choose a course of action that aligns with our values and long-term goals rather than being driven by fleeting emotions. Restraint through silence is not about suppression or avoidance. It is about intentionality. It requires the discipline to step back and assess whether a reaction is necessary or productive. Often, silence reveals that many situations do not warrant a response. For example, when someone disrespects or criticizes you, their words are often more a reflection of their own struggles or insecurities than of your worth. Reacting to such negativity only feeds into their energy, giving them the control they seek. Silence, on the other hand, denies them that power. It demonstrates that you are grounded enough to rise above pettiness and prioritize your peace over proving a point. Restraint is a skill that grows stronger with practice, and silence is one of its most effective teachers. By choosing silence, you train yourself to resist the pull of instant gratification, the need to defend, argue, or retaliate. You learn to sit with your emotions, to understand them without being consumed by them. This process builds emotional intelligence, as it fosters self-awareness and helps you identify the underlying triggers behind your reactions. Over time, this awareness enables you to approach challenges with a sense of calm and purpose rather than being swept away by impulse. Silence also teaches us to listen, not just to others, but to ourselves. In moments of stillness, we can tune into our inner thoughts and emotions, gaining clarity about what truly matters. This self-reflection is crucial for developing restraint, because it allows us to separate what is worth our energy from what is not. When we take the time to reflect, we often realize that many conflicts are inconsequential in the grand scheme of things. Silence gives us the perspective to let go of minor grievances and focus on what truly deserves our attention. In relationships, silence and restraint are particularly important. Misunderstandings, disagreements, and differences of opinion are inevitable, but how we respond to them can either strengthen or weaken our connections with others. Reacting impulsively in the heat of the moment, whether through harsh words, accusations, or defensiveness, can cause lasting damage. Silence, on the other hand, allows us to pause and consider the other person's perspective before responding. It creates space for empathy and understanding, enabling us to address conflicts in a way that fosters resolution rather than division. Restraint through silence also teaches us to choose our battles wisely. Not every slight or disagreement requires engagement. There is wisdom in recognizing when to speak up and when to remain silent, when to defend ourselves and when to let things go. Engaging in every argument or attempting to correct every misunderstanding can be exhausting and counterproductive. Silence helps us conserve our energy for the moments that truly matter, allowing us to invest in relationships and situations that align with our values and priorities. One of the greatest lessons silence teaches is the value of patience. In a culture that often glorifies immediacy, patience is a rare and undervalued virtue. Silence requires us to sit with discomfort, to resist the urge to fill the void with words or actions. It teaches us that some things cannot be resolved immediately and that clarity often emerges over time. Patience cultivated through silence allows us to approach challenges with a sense of calm and resilience, trusting that solutions will reveal themselves in due course. Silence also protects us from the consequences of rash decisions. Words spoken in anger or haste can rarely be taken back, and actions driven by impulse often lead to regret. Restraint through silence gives us the opportunity to consider the potential impact of our words and actions before we proceed. It allows us to weigh the long-term consequences against the short-term satisfaction of reacting in the moment. This foresight is a cornerstone of wisdom, enabling us to navigate life's challenges with grace and integrity. Furthermore, silence teaches us that restraint is not a sign of weakness, but of strength. It takes far more courage and discipline to remain silent in the face of provocation than to lash out in retaliation. Restraint demonstrates self-mastery, the ability to remain in control of your emotions and actions regardless of external circumstances. It shows that you are not easily swayed by the opinions or behaviors of others, and that your sense of self is rooted in something deeper than temporary emotions. Ultimately, silence and restraint empower us to live intentionally. By choosing when to speak and when to remain silent, we take ownership of our actions and their impact. We create space for reflection, growth, and clarity, allowing us to respond to life's challenges with wisdom and purpose. Silence is not the absence of action, it is the presence of thoughtful consideration. It teaches us to pause, to reflect, and to act in a way that aligns with our highest values. In a world where words often hold weight and influence, it's easy to fall into the trap of relying too much on what we say. We can find ourselves wrapped up in convincing others of our intentions, promising change, or stating our desires. However, the true measure of who we are is not found in the words we speak, but in the actions we take. Words, while important, are fleeting and can sometimes be empty if not backed by consistent action. Actions have a lasting impact and carry a truth that words often fail to communicate. When we say one thing but act in another way, our words lose their meaning. Our actions reveal who we truly are, what we value, what we prioritize, and how we choose to engage with the world. The old adage, actions speak louder than words, rings true because it reflects the fact that actions are tangible expressions of our character. People can hear promises and claims, but it's only through action that we demonstrate our commitment to those promises. Whether it's in relationships, work, or personal growth, actions offer the ultimate proof of our intentions. One of the most powerful aspects of letting our actions speak louder is the ability to inspire others. Words can motivate temporarily, but actions have the power to create lasting change. When we align our actions with our values, we set an example for others to follow. The impact of a single act of kindness, a display of resilience in the face of adversity, or a commitment to helping others speaks volumes more than any speech or declaration. Our behavior has a ripple effect that can encourage others to do the same. Actions have the power to inspire others to take action, making a much larger impact than any set of words ever could. People watch our actions, and over time, they form their opinions of us based on how we behave rather than what we say. It's easy to make promises, but it's much harder to follow through with the work required to fulfill them. True integrity comes from demonstrating the alignment between our words and actions. If we consistently show up for others, put in the effort, and make sacrifices when necessary, we build trust and credibility. Words alone can be manipulative or deceptive, but actions are difficult to fake. Actions are a reflection of our commitment, effort, and consistency, while words can be empty without the foundation of real effort to back them up. Letting our actions speak louder is also a way to avoid the trap of over-explaining or over-promising. In a culture that often values productivity and success based on how much we say or claim, it can be easy to fall into the habit of talking about what we are going to do rather than actually doing. We might say we are committed to a goal, but if we do not take the steps necessary to achieve it, those words become irrelevant. The simple act of moving forward with our plans, of taking consistent steps toward our goals, proves our intentions far more effectively than any verbal declaration could. Action eliminates the need for excessive explanations. When people see what we are doing, they no longer need to hear us talk about it. In personal relationships, letting our actions speak louder is a way to show love, respect, and commitment. Words are important in nurturing relationships, but actions demonstrate that we truly understand and care for the other person. In moments of conflict, it's easy to say, "I'm sorry," but the apology will only mean something if followed by a change in behavior. Consistently showing up, offering support, and being present, these are the actions that solidify trust and deepen connections. Love, loyalty, and respect are not just communicated through affectionate words, but through the actions we take to show we care, often without being asked. Moreover, letting our actions speak louder applies to how we approach personal growth and development. It's easy to talk about the changes we want to make or the habits we want to adopt, but true transformation comes from actively working toward those goals. Whether it's developing a healthier lifestyle, working on emotional intelligence, or committing to self-improvement, the journey is marked not by the words we use, but by the daily actions we take. Real growth requires showing up every day, even when it's hard. It means staying committed to our intentions, taking responsibility for our shortcomings, and continuously striving to improve, regardless of external recognition. In the professional world, our actions also serve as a reflection of our abilities and work ethic. We can make promises about our skills, our experience, or our potential, but it's the quality of our work and the consistency of our effort that truly speaks for us. Our actions, whether it's meeting deadlines, going the extra mile, or demonstrating leadership through service, are what earn us respect and credibility in the eyes of others. In a world where competition is fierce, talking about our qualifications may catch someone's attention, but it's our actions that will ultimately lead to lasting success. Letting our actions speak louder also means taking responsibility for our actions, particularly when we fall short. Rather than making excuses or explaining away our mistakes, owning up to them and working to correct them is a far more powerful approach. Actions of accountability demonstrate humility and integrity. People respect those who are willing to acknowledge their shortcomings and take the necessary steps to make amends. It shows strength and a commitment to personal growth. Finally, actions have an authenticity that words cannot replicate. In moments of doubt or uncertainty, actions provide a clear path forward. When faced with difficult decisions or challenges, our actions become the compass that guides us. Words may offer advice or comfort, but it is through our actions that we define who we are and what we stand for. Actions are not subject to interpretation in the same way that words can be, as they are direct expressions of our values and choices. When words are carefully crafted to suit a moment or to gain favor, actions bypass that artifice and show the truth for what it is. Living by the principle that actions speak louder than words is ultimately a way of embracing accountability and authenticity. It calls on us to embody our intentions, to show through our behavior what we stand for, and to commit to living a life of integrity. It reminds us that the most lasting impact we can make is not through the promises we make or the things we say, but through the consistent actions we take in alignment with our true values.